Our worship theme this month is living with ghosts, which might have felt a little spooky or a little silly at the beginning, and maybe something that made sense at Halloween. But now that we're past that, you might be wondering why. The idea of ghosts isn't always something that is scary. There are also good ghosts, ancestral ghosts, those from whom we inherited basically, well, everything. The tradition of Unitarian Universalism and this congregation here in Fort Collins exists on some level because our spiritual ancestors were seeking a healing alternative to the shaming ways of hellfire and brimstone preachers. We came about as an antidote to shame. We come from people who rejected the soul stained story of original sin, who rejected the idea of hell. We come from people who claim and celebrate each human's innate personal connection to the sacred, a connection that doesn't require the church or the clergy as mediators. We come from people who proclaimed that each one of us is born whole and beautiful, with an inborn wholeness that no one can take away, and that nothing can cast us outside the circle of worthiness and belonging. Firmly placed in this lineage, we gather this morning to honor with clear eyes the ambiguity and complexities of being human. That each one of us is broken and beautiful, that no one could ever be defined by the worst thing they've done or how they've survived the most painful thing. Our lineage proclaims that we each have the capacity to heal and grow our souls and to amplify love in the world. And those are the embers of truth, of love, and liberation that we come together this Sunday to stoke and to tend. With that lineage in mind, I'm going to light our chalice, symbol of our living and growing faith. I invite you to join with me in the words of our shared covenant that begin with the word love. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Love is the spirit of this church, and it is in that spirit that we walk with one another through our joys and our sorrows, and especially in the ways these things tend to arrive all at once in this tangled blessing that we call life. I'm going to invite us into a time of prayer and contemplation. Spirit of life, this morning we hold many healing thoughts for those in our community who are going through tough times. Our healing wishes are with Lana Fain as she recovers from a serious ankle sprain. Our prayers are with Wayne Phillips as she recovers from a breakthrough case of COVID-19. We send our love to Nancy Higgins, who is struggling with illness. Our prayers are with Sabrina Davis as she grieves the unexpected death of her fiance, Lonnie Noah. Our love is with Maria Logston as she grieves the loss of her father, Bernard. Our love and care is with Carol Coffey and her daughter, Leslie Arnold, who attended the funeral for their 19-year-old grandson and nephew, Nolan, last weekend. Nolan died by suicide. Finally, we mourn the death and celebrate the life of Barbara Fleming. Barbara grew up at Foothills and attended religious education here back when the church was over on college with her best friend, Francie Lane. Barbara was a local historian, a beloved community member, and will be deeply missed, especially by members of our history project. Beyond these, we have named aloud. Let us honor the joys and the sorrows that remain unspoken but yet live in the silence of our hearts. Whatever stories of regret or loss, pride or praise, and the mixture of it all, may all of these feel the compassion embodied here in our community. For the grief we carry, may we find healing and hope. For the division in our nation, in our families, in our lives, for all those who are struggling with addiction or mental illness, for anyone feeling lost and alone. May each and all be met with a sustaining grace and a transforming love. The love that holds all of us and each of us and will not let us go. I invite you, if there's a joy or sorrow or tangled blessing that you want to lift up, to add it to our chat, lifting our stories up in community, finding a place for all that lives in our lives, for that shared promise that we make to one another to journey together. And of course, it is not just for sorrow and sadness, as also for the many blessings of our lives, the beauty we create and receive in the everyday. So let us give thanks again and again for this life, tangled and all, for the joys and sorrows that are coming in, and those that are so tender that they may not have words. I invite us into a moment of shared silence together. Amen, and blessed be.